tell them is, I want you to start in one quadrant. I'm going to tell you to either step forward, step sideways, step diagonal, or step backwards. And you want to see if they can do that. Because what'll happen, everybody can step forwards. Then they get ready to step backwards, and you're seeing, you know, they're trying to figure out how to step backwards. And they'll either step here and they can't clear it, or you'll see them step away. But almost everybody loses their balance diagonally, typically posterior and lateral. But they have a hard time. They'll step right here, then they have nowhere to put their foot. So you're thinking, all right, maybe this is a perception thing. Maybe they've got some dysmetria where they can't judge what they're doing. So maybe you can see if they can do it. But this is the one that gets everybody because they can't plan it out. And the reason I tell them to do this is I want to see which way you lose your balance, because then in therapy, if they have a hard time doing that, maybe I get them with some cones or something behind them, or I toss the ball to where they're having to reach way over here, or get them in high kneeling on the mat and make them catch the ball, even like a lightweight medicine ball, that kind of stuff. Something that I can make them stimulate. And what I want to see is, I want to see if they can lose their balance and catch it. I tell the patients, I don't mind you losing your balance. That's a good thing. I want to see if you can catch your balance when you lose it. Because I'm going to try to knock you all over the place. And the reason is you're going in a parking lot, somebody all of a sudden backs out, can you stop? Can you step back if somebody's rolling something in front of you? That kind of thing. But that's a good thing. I'll set canes up in front of them with boxes and have them walk around like an obstacle course to see if they can kind of keep that continual motion. Because sometimes you'll get people and they'll stop and try to figure it out, or they'll swing their legs way around. You'll see some very weird things. They'll get there and they won't know what to do. They can't plan it out. Something's in their way. They don't know what to do. They'll just stop. That kind of thing. Or I'll set canes up with their wheelchair. If they're going to go home with their wheelchair, I'll see, set an obstacle course to see if they can roll their wheelchair around. Or, can they pull up in a narrow space like at home? At home, have the family measure. We've got 24 inches from here to here. Are they going to be able to get their wheelchair turned? That kind of stuff. We'll practice with them, get that. And the OT really loves to use the canes to see if somebody can step over into the shower. If they're going to go home with the walker, can they get the walker up to the shower and have the bench and actually practice stepping sideways and sit down? So you can practice that with OT and the patient. But that's really good balance stuff. I love stuff that's single leg stands to see if they can reach, because when you're walking, tell the patient, why are you having me stand on one leg? Well, when you're walking, 40% of the time you're on one leg. That kind of thing. Or 60% of the time you're, that kind of thing.
It's great to use the standardized tests that are already out there, the BERG and that kind of thing. They have scores that are objective and everything. But some of this stuff, it's not a standardized test, it's something that you're making up on the fly. But make it measurable so that the next day, when you repeat it, you can show improvement. Alternating steps over cane is successful 5 out of 10 times. Cleared cane 5 out of 10 steps. The next day, they cleared it 7 out of 10 times and maintained balance with an assist or contact guard, whatever. Make it measurable and objective so that you can show improvement.
You can make up your own test as long as it's the same thing. Because we've had patients that for whatever reason, they have to be able to go downstairs to do laundry. They can't bring their laundry up. You talk to them about all kinds of stuff. They don't have anybody to do it. They've got to figure out a way to get their laundry basket and their laundry down. Sometimes I will come up with a test on the stairs with a basket full of laundry that takes them. Can they do that? Maybe they have to slide it all the way down on the pulley system, but we'll figure something out. And we time them to see if they're safe. And then in a week later, you come back, and insurance, they like the standardized test, but they like anything that shows that they're making improvement, because in that way they can say, all right, yeah, maybe in a week you're going to be right. They can go home. But that's what the patient wants to do. They want to be able to carry, the patients will come up with, we've had people that they love to work on cars, and their garage is at their house beside of it, but they want to be able to sit on a rolling stool and get up underneath the car, whatever it is that they like to do, especially an outpatient. You're going to have all kinds of tests that you got to come up with, because that's what they like to do, and they can't do it anymore. Maybe it's tennis or baseball or whatever, and that's the stuff that you're working on. You come up with a goal that 8 out of 10, repetitions of throwing the ball, they don't have pain. You come up with a way to measure it and that kind of stuff, or it's less than 2 out of 10 pain. But balance is the same way. And I love to do sit to stand. We always think about the wheelchair and the mat, but I'll do it to different surfaces. We actually do a group with patients to where we get 10 patients, and we have them transfer around in a circle to different things. I put the bedside table out, I put a regular chair without arms, I put a chair with arms, a wheelchair, a mat table, and we have them go around and practice transferring, because as you can imagine, the ones without arms and are low, they can't get out of it, you know, so, well, you gotta talk to the patient, you couldn't stand from that, so what does that mean? And they'll say, well, I just won't sit in something like that. Well, that's good. What if you get somewhere and there's a bench? And you have nowhere to sit down, but there's a bench, there's nothing to push up on. You know, you gotta talk to them about ways to come up with that. Maybe they need a four-wheel walker that they can roll with them, that they can sit down on, that kind of thing. But that leads you to a lot of good